Hi, my name's Doug Swift from Enso Martial Arts, and today I thought I'd give you a bit of information on the leg stretching machines that we sell at Enso Martial Arts. So, first thing first, I thought I'd just run through some of the features that the leg stretching machine's got and why you'd want to use it, and then yeah, we'll get on it and give it a whirl. First thing, there's loads of different types of leg stretching machines that are out there. There's like much simpler devices that you can get. I'll show you, we sell them in the shop. So you can get these types of, like, it's called like a 3-bar stretcher or metal leg stretcher. And these are great to start off with. If you've never done any type of stretching before, these are good and they get you so far. What I find happens with these is after a while, once you start getting quite good with your box splits, it can put quite a lot of pressure on your knees, so you've got to be careful of that, and especially if you're doing quite like knee intensive martial arts like karate or kung fu that have got very low stances. You don't want to put any extra pressure on your knees than you're already having. So let's have a look at some of the features that we've got on the leg stretcher here. So to start with, it's got a backrest which is movable, and it's got a notch system at the back. So you've got 5 different positions that you can have the backrest in, which is upright all the way down to completely flat if the size of my shop allowed it. There we go. And then there's some different ones that you can have in between. It's got a wheel on, so you can hang crank the legs apart, which is great, and obviously space for each of your legs. Now, all of the box split leg stretchers have wheels on the front. One thing I love about this is that it's got almost like inline skate wheels. A lot of them have like casters, like chair casters on them. And sometimes if they're not facing the right way, they can like jolt your legs when you're opening it, or if they get caught on something. These are a much smoother wheel with a bearing in, and it only needs to go in one direction. So just having that like single direction wheel is absolutely brilliant. It works great. Another design that I like is these kind of pads on the side where your knees sit, or your thighs sit, or your calves sit. You can actually pull them out and adjust them. So if you're someone who's like got really long legs, you know, and you want the pad like lower down your legs, or if you've got really short legs or whatever, or you just got a preference of which part, the side bit of your leg that's getting pushed on, you can adjust that around. The other bit that I think is the biggest sell for this type of leg stretcher is the mechanism underneath. So underneath here, what you've got is the legs are attached to like a spindle basically. So as you crank the wheel up, the end of the legs move along this spindle. What this gives you is a really like minute changes in the distance that your legs are going apart. So you'll find that there's no jolt or movement. So you can crank it up to the exact, like within millimeter precision, where you want your legs, and then it will just hold there. It won't slip, it won't move. I think this makes a massive difference to how you can train your box splits. The other type of leg stretching machine that you get is like a cable system. So they usually have like a crank handle with cables. Personally, I don't particularly like them. It's not something I want to train with. You have to crank up to the next level, to the next notch, which is like forcing a stretch that you might not be physically able to do. So you just run the risk of more injuries, and I just don't understand why you'd want to do that. The prices are about the same for the cable ones or the spindle ones. So yeah, so I think whatever you get, if you're getting a leg stretching machine, make sure you get one with a spindle on it. I think they're much better, and also there's a lot less things to break and go wrong on it. So personally, yeah, I prefer that. So why would you want to buy one of these? I mean, they're not brilliantly cheap. They're an investment to have, and they're quite a big investment for one particular area of your martial arts training. For me, as I said earlier, like with the 3-bar stretchers, and also if you're doing partner stretching or if you're just stretching like using gravity, you do get to a point where you just get stuck and your box splits aren't going to progress, and it just takes absolutely ages to get any further. What the leg stretching machine does is it gets you past that point where you're just kind of stuck in no man's land and not improving. These really force the issue, so they really make you progress much quicker. A lot of people I know have them in their lounge, and at night they'll go and do a bit of training or whatever, and then they come back, get the telly on and just crank it up and sit in it for like a fair amount of time. So that's why I'd buy one. These stretching machines are mainly for box splits. The majority of people that will buy these would use them for box splits, but you can, and I've heard of people doing front splits in them as well. I'll show you the theory behind front splits but in a minute, but yeah, most people will use them for box splits. So we're getting the leg stretcher. So first thing I always want to do is get my back nice and kind of wedged into the backrest, so I'm sitting up as straight as possible. This helps keep the stress off your spine basically, so you can just work your legs and you're not stressing anything out. So for me, I've fairly average height, fairly average length legs, and I get the choice with these pads, which I can move around whether I want to have them on my feet or my calves or my knees. So one quite good feature of these, it's definitely better than those 3-bar leg stretchers, is if you're pushing the knee, you're not straining it at all. I think when you've got it just on your feet, you can find that your knee will start to bend out of it. So personally, I like to have them on the calves, and that's the most comfortable place for me. So you can get into a nice crank it up to a point where you're comfortable, and then just allow the stretch to happen, and you can sit in it quite comfortably, quite relaxed. This wheel comes off, as I showed you earlier, so you can practice your forward stretching, you can practice your side splits, but the feature, especially with the spindle underneath, it just allows your legs to just sit there. You don't have to hold them, you don't have to do anything, so you can relax, watch TV, read a book, whatever. Also, you can see that just a gentle turn of the wheel, it makes tiny movements in your legs, and you'll find when you get up, even like an 1/8 of a turn can be quite painful. So you can just make these tiny little adjustments to just progress that stretch further and further and further. So yeah, that's the leg stretch. And in fact, I've been sitting here for a little time talking to you for a minute, and actually I can get a few more turns on the wheel and just get that stretch going a little bit further. So that's the box splits. I did promise earlier that I'd show you the front splits, so it is possible. So let's have a look at that. I put the backrest all the way down so I can lie flat, and I usually start off with the legs a little way apart for these, because it's not that easy to crank it up while you're in the splits position. So I'll crank it open a bit and lie right back onto my elbow, onto my shoulder, and I'll crank up the splits that way, so you can get a good front split stretch, which is a good feature to have in addition to being able to do your box splits. So yeah, that's the leg stretcher machine. Hope you enjoyed it, hope it was useful, and if you've got any questions, you can just message me or email me at the shop. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Enso Martial Arts, and yeah, hopefully see you soon. Thank you very much. Cheers.